Ready for me to start?
Whenever you are.
As we go through life, we gain experience in a lot of different things. We gain wisdom and experience and learn new things. But all those things sometimes add up to greatness, sometimes not. But Holmes once said, a moment's insight is sometimes worth a life's experience. So if you think about that, think about different areas where that could apply. For example, in scientific achievement, people go through life and they use tools and things, but think of the person who invented the wheel or fire way back thousands of years ago, or even up into modern times, electronics. That one moment of insight that gave them that bit of inspiration to do that is worth far more than the experience they gained in their life. For example, like I sell electrical stuff, and I look at that sometimes and go, wow, who came up with this? And I think someone had that insight, someone had that inspiration to come up with this piece of technology. And it doesn't just apply to science either, it applies to like art. If you look at great works of art, you look at the works of Da Vinci or Van Gogh, or any of those painters or sculptors or anything, you think, wow, this person had some insight, some inspiration that's worth far more than the experience that they had in their life. And also in other things like philosophy and politics, people come up with these ideas that are worth far more than they could have than the products that they've come up with, that they've the work that they've done, whatever their job is. But they come up with these ideas that last forever, and that's why I agree with this quote that a moment's insight is sometimes worth a life's experiences. Thank you.
I'm just hanging on to it right now. I actually may need a couple of extra coats because I'm not sure I have enough. All right, well, I thought you had good audience contact in the introduction, and you did kind of start repeating yourself before you got to the quote, but once you got to the quote, I thought you introduced it pretty well, and you had a couple of interesting ideas that you're using to set up the point that you're trying to make. As you're speaking, I can kind of hear an organizational structure. You're going to talk about science, art, and politics, but that wasn't really set up is a preview of the speech, so that was a little bit awkward. I wasn't exactly sure where you were going to go, and in fact, when you had those initial examples, you're talking about things before you get to the body of the speech, it sounded like you had already started the presentation, and I thought, well, he's going to be done pretty quickly. As it was, I thought that you found some good categories. What you needed to do was develop each of those a little bit more. You didn't have anything to say once you'd mentioned a couple of ideas there. And I think, for instance, the opening one is probably the easiest one for you to get into. And then once you got to art and politics, you had categories, but you didn't have any illustrations. On the presentation part. I think that you project pretty well. It did sound a little like you were going quicker than you needed to. You can slow down a little bit. I thought you had some good descriptive gestures early on. I was a little distracted because the quote's in your fingers while you're speaking, and sometimes it comes up and whips around while you're doing your descriptive gestures. You look at the audience pretty consistently. You appear to be engaged. I thought that your body movements, they looked like they were connected to what you were talking about when you were focusing on something or stepping forward, so they didn't look like there was anxiousness coming out there. The only anxiety issues that I saw, like I said, were the speed issues, and I thought you finished up pretty cleanly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.